Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, if you're watching live on Facebook, it is Tuesday, February 25th, and this is part of our Teach It Tuesday Scrapbooking Trio presentation series. Last month, we shared everyday life with you. Today, we are sharing the Meant to Be scrapbooking kit, and we, when I say we, are me, Patty Bennett, Tammy Savello, and Jenny Fetz. We are the Scrapbooking Trio, and we are bringing you a monthly series so that you can see the Stampin' Up! Scrapbooking kits and how we are following the 3 scrapbooking layouts. It was perfect, right? 3 layouts for each kit, 3 of us. So I'm doing layout 1. Tammy will be live, or you can watch her replay, of course. I'm doing layout 2 live later today, and Jenny will be live later today doing layout number 3. So it's just perfect, right? And if you don't know what layout 1, 2, 3 is, I'll be going over that. So I'll just grab this to show you real quickly. There we go. And then we'll get started officially in just a minute. I just wanted to give you an overview of kind of where we are headed with the live video today. And by the way, if you're joining live, say hi. Hey, Tammy. Welcome, friend. So my name is Patty Bennett. This is me. And today we will be looking at the Meant to Be Scrapbooking Workshop Kit from Stampin' Up! And I will be showing you my version of layout number 1. Tammy will be going over layout number 2, and Jenny will be doing layout number 3. In each scrapbooking workshop kit, you get, let me show you what it looks like when you, oh my gosh, I just dumped all my supplies on the floor. Uh-oh. Okay, I might have to have a small timeout here. Oopsie. You get a kit in a large Ziploc bag, and it has all of the supplies that you need to make these layouts, and you're going to actually have lots of leftover paper. It has the instructions, which we'll look at. It has patterned paper. It has solid cardstock, and each kit has kind of a different little something like stickers or die cuts or some kind of embellishments that you can add to your pages. So I'll be opening that. Please give me just a moment because, like I said, all of my supplies just dumped onto the floor. So hang with me just a second. I can't even believe that just happened. Oh, and now I just ran over my supplies. So now that is wrinkled. Well, that was fantastic. So what a fabulous start to the day. It's all right. I'll be with you in just a second. I've got it almost back together here. Good heavens. Good heavens, my friends. 1 second. I'm almost there. Almost there. Okay. All right. I have myself back together over here. Well, that was scary. So, real life, hey, crafting on the fly, real life, things happen, right? So let's go ahead and get started with today's kit and today's layout. We decided that it would be fun to share with you our stories and information about us so that you get to know your presenters and who has been doing these monthly presentations. Like I said, if you missed January, we used the Everyday Life Kit. We were going to do wildflower celebrations with birthday pages in March, but because of Onstage and because of the new catalog and the retiring lists and sale and all those things, we have bumped this one to April. So there is a new date, and you can find this on pattystamps.com today, as well as links to Tammy and Jenny's presentations later today. Then tomorrow, you'll find our finished pages on our blogs, and those, of course, will be linked on my blog and their blogs so that you can kind of go back and forth like a very mini blog hop, right? But today we decided that it would be fun to feature photos and just kind of tell our stories about us. And I already have my photos ready. We are going to be using these flip flaps because I have way more pictures than could possibly fit onto just these two. Like, how can I tell my life in 5 pictures? Nearly impossible, right? So I'm going to show you how I adapted this page, which is their suggested layout with 1 photo. And I am actually doing, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, plus there's really more because I did like doubles. So I have about 15 different photos on this page, and I'll show you how I'm using the flip flaps to add this many photos. Now, for those of you who scrapbook a lot already, you're probably saying, you're not really supposed to use this many flip-flops on one page. I get it. I understand that. But this is just sort of, well, this is an exception. Let's say it that way, because in my presentation, I'm focusing on these 2 pages. And like I said, how in the world could I tell my life story in 5 photos? So yes, I have a lot of flip-flaps. I'm using a lot of flip-flaps. Normally, you would probably only put maybe 2 or 3 on a page, not 5 on a page. But you know what? This is our projects. This is our life. This is our story, and we can present it however we would like to share it with you, right? Yes. Well, I'm going with that anyway. So you can see that their suggested layout looks something like this for page number 1 on the left side. And so first of all, let me just say, this paper does not scream Patty Bennett. I like it, but it just does not scream Patty Bennett's life. But we're using these pages. I'm showing you how I can adapt, how you can adapt, and I'll show you what I did to make it be a little more representative of me and how I adapted it so that I can have all those pictures on the page. So to start with, the supplies that we're using are the Meant to Be scrapbooking kit. You can also purchase extra 2-tone 12x12 cardstock that coordinates if you want to make more pages. We're using the 4x6 flip flaps that I just showed you. The Meant to Be bundle, which I actually used just the hexagon dies on my page and not actually the stamp set because I didn't concentrate on the bees. I concentrated more on the patterns and the hexagons. And again, it's up to us, right? We can do whatever we'd like. But I also pulled in the mini alphabet dies for a page title. And then, of course, my adhesives. Stampin' Write marker is great for journaling if you would like to do that. And then you will need a trimmer. So the supplies are on pattystamps.com today if you need to click and order any of those supplies. I've also linked the entire scrapbooking brochure on my blog post today and tomorrow so that if you want to see all of the other supplies in addition to the Meant to Be that we are using. So we did Everyday You and Me last month, Meant to Be today. If you want to see those supplies kind of in more close-up views, you can click on any of those supplies in the scrapbooking brochure that I have linked on pattystamps.com today. So to get started, what I discovered was that it seemed easiest to grab the patterns that they featured. I cut 2-inch strips, and then hang on, got buried. Not unusual. And then with the 2-inch strips, I just started cutting 2-inch squares, and I put all 4 of those layers in at once. and you can cut them all at once. So I cut a 2-inch strip by 12 inches, cut it all into squares, and that's how I started my layout. And I wanted to make it like Stampin' Up! Suggests in the Scrapbooking Workshop Kit. So they took the Pretty in Pink two-tone cardstock, 12 by 12, and they cut down a piece of white. I'll show you that. So here in the instructions, it shows you that you take a 1/2 inch off all the way around, or 1 inch total off of the white, left side and top, or bottom and right, like whatever, you know what I mean. You take 1 inch and 1 inch, and then that gives you a 1/2 inch border all the way around. So you can see that right here, that we have a 1/2 inch border all the way around, and I just put the white piece right on top. So I'll show you that. I'm just going to take 1 inch off. And if you don't already do this, this is my suggestion. When you want to take 1 inch off, instead of sliding it over here and trying to get it to really be perpendicular, just slide your paper over here, and whatever the measurement is, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1, whatever you're taking off your page, it just seems easier to do it over here, and then cut your 1 inch off and flip it and cut your 1 inch off. I've done this for a long, long time. Whenever I want to do a small, anything up to 1.5 inches, I just do it on the right side. And you might already do that. That might be old news, but I have just found that to be the easiest way. So then we have, sorry, I just hit the camera. Didn't mean to. We have our 12 by 12 pink two-tone cardstock, and the white layer just goes right on top. Sorry, maybe, let me just raise this up a little and see if it helps to see the whole page, because this is large, right? We're usually making cards together, and this is a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock here. So you have your white layer on your pink layer, and then I just started by laying out, and I just wanted to kind of get an idea of laying out my pieces before I actually glued them on. So I found it easiest to do my 4 corners, and then I filled in these 3, these 3, these 3, and these 3. So this is the layout that Stampin' Up! Suggests, and then they just have like one photo right in the center. But like I said, I have way more photos than that I wanted to share. So let me show you how I adapted this layout to accommodate my multiple photos. Excuse my reach. So I am just going to grab my adhesive and put, I'm just using seal. You can use what works for you. And allow that 1/2 inch border all the way around. Last month, if you remember, I shared with you an alternate way to do this, where it's called gutting out, where you actually cut your bottom layer and you cut out a frame so that this piece right here is actually gone. And you use that for other projects or matting your photos. For this page, I wanted it a little stronger because of all the flip-flaps that are going to go on it. So I decided that it was easy, or better maybe, to make this a double thickness. So we have the full piece of pink and almost an entirely full piece of white. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, there is no flip-flap rule, Tracy. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. No problem. I'm glad that you're all here. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so I cut all of those little squares like I showed you, a 2-inch strip, and then start cutting it into 2-inch squares. And then I actually liked my liquid glue to start my layout. So remember I said I did my 4 corners first. So that's what I am going to do here. And once you create, remember this finished one here, once you create a finished one with this layout, it's pretty easy to see that your border is going to be roughly 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So if I do these 4 corners and I leave about 1/8 of an inch, give or take. And I'll show you this adorable heart in just a second. I hope this is showing. I'm just going to wait for my tablet to catch up so I can see if you can see this whole page. It's behind. I'm going to scoot it up just a little bit, but it's a little behind. So I'll see in a minute that you can see all of this. So then I did my glue next to my 4 corners. So you can see here, I'm just kind of copying along for their suggested layout. But one thing that I did was I replaced the beehive or honeycomb, I guess is really the real word, with the piece that has the plaid. It's still green, but I liked that a little better. And I flip-flopped these 2. Again, these are our pages, right? We can do whatever we would like. Okay. And then this probably needed to come down just a little bit to make it a little more equal. And then I'm going to do the 2 middle ones, and then I'll show you how I finished off top and bottom. This did not come out exactly equal, but I highly doubt anybody is going to completely scrutinize my page and say, you have like a 1/16 of an inch more space over there. And if they do, then whatever. Okay, so I have my left and right columns, but instead of, remember I told you I was going to adjust this to be a little bit more me. Instead of all these patterns with all those squares, what I decided to do was to cut strips, and I might need to, well, no, this is going to get covered up. This is what I rolled over. Can you see the wrinkles? I rolled over this with my chair when everything fell on the floor. I decided to use some of the pool party paper from this kit and do a plain strip at the top and a plain strip at the bottom instead of extra squares. And I thought that was just a little more representative of me. You can see what I also did up here is I used the Stampin' Up mini alphabet. So this cuts the entire alphabet at once, and I used the letters in white to spell out about me. And I also had this idea that I thought I was going to like the letters die cut with this pattern from this pack. Do you see it has, hope you can see it, it has like little bee squiggles on it. But I'm not totally convinced that I love the pink on here. And so when we get done, I might grab these letters that I die cut with the pink. Let's see if we can, like, oh, that's a white one. Okay, here's the T, and I see the W, the U. Sorry, my fingers are so sore from arthritis that it's very hard sometimes to grab little things like this. But I'll just put a couple of them on here to just sort of see if I'm going to like this. I'm not totally convinced, but I'm just going to leave those pieces right there where I'll kind of look at that and decide if I think I like the pink or if I'm going to stick with the white. It was an idea, and I can always save these for another page or another project. Okay, and then to further, let me show you the hearts real quick. Let me show you these. In the workshop kit, there is this piece of, it looks like striped patterned paper. Let me find it in here. I'm getting there. Sorry, my fingers are just having a cooperation issue today. Okay, here it is. I think it's actually, the way it's packaged, it's the last sheet in the kit, I think. And this sheet, it just looks like stripes. But when you look closer, you're going to see that this whole half has, look at all these flowers. There's flowers in every color. Do you see that? And this half has hearts in every color. And I think they are adorable. And so I punched out 3 different hearts to add to this page. And I thought it was just really a cute addition to have just something fun and different on these pages. I just like these. I think they're adorable. Isn't that a fun addition in this kit? And then my layout is going to include this photo of my son, Jason, my husband, and I on a cruise many years ago. It's going to include this photo at the bottom, and it's going to tell part of my story. Hang on, these are bothering me, just peeking out there. I'm going to get rid of those. Okay, so that's going to be part of my page. And then I also am just going to have a piece of this in the background, and I'll explain. You'll see as I add the flip flaps to the page protector, you will see that this just adds a little bit in the background. So just for now, I'm going to take away these letters. I'll decide later if we are going to do pink letters or leave them white. I think the white is really more me than the pink, but either way will work, and I can always add the pink ones on top of those later. But I'm going to go ahead and add this photo right to my page. It's just going to get stuck down, so it'll be there forever. Okay. And then, let's see, I just want to make sure everything's stuck. Oh, it didn't stick this. Okay. And then we are going to slip it into the page protector. Okay, so yeah, everything's stuck down. I just wanted to make sure. So I'm going to grab a page protector. And the way that this 2-page layout would be in the album, this would be the side with the holes or the rings on the right side. So I'm going to slip it in this way because the 2-page spread, my second page would be over here on this side. So it's inside the page protector. And then I can add the flip flaps. So let me show you how I did that. And then we will work on the right side spread. Oh, I forgot, excuse me, hang on, before this goes in, I added 2 little embellishments. And these come from the Meant to Be dies. And the the hexagons, these are so cool. Let me show you how they cut. So I taped this one on with my Post-it flags onto the patterned paper from the kit, this size. And when you take the die off, look what you get. Oh, there's another flag back here. I wanted to make sure it held together so I could show you. You get 2 pieces. So every time you die cut any of these 5 sizes, because this one actually goes right here, so there's 5 sizes, you get the frame and you get that piece. And I didn't realize that just from the brochure. I didn't know it was going to cut like that. And I think this is super, super cool. So instead of having to line up 2 separate dies to get a frame, you just cut it once and you get a frame and you get that. So wouldn't it be cute? You could actually die cut your photo with this, and you could die cut your paper, and then you could layer them together and you'd have a frame around your photo. I mean, it's totally up to you, but I just thought this was very versatile. And I decided to bring in this pop of yellow on my page. And so what I did was just put the framed part, just a little glue. You don't need much to hold this all together. So I just kind of randomly put this up here, and it'll make a little more sense when you see the 2-page spread come together. And this was something I added at the end because I just liked this, like I said, this pop of color of yellow. Tying in the 2 pages. So you'll see that carried over onto page 2. And I think I actually want one of those cute little hearts up here. I think that I may have put this square down here by accident. So I want a heart up at the top. So I'll just add that. Okay, now we're ready to slip it in. Sorry about that. So we'll slip it in the page protector. And in order to tell my story, I started kind of at the beginning. I was just about less than 2 years old in that picture, and maybe about 5-ish in this picture. This is my family that I grew up with, my dad and mom and my baby brother. Isn't he just, he's like the cutest, right? He's adorable. And now he's, 6'4" and a grandpa of 9, almost 10. But I wanted to start there. So that's going to be my first picture that's going to go right up here. And when we flip it up, I wanted to share sort of more recent of my husband's family. There were 5 siblings. He's the tallest. 5 siblings and their kids. And this photo is actually several years old. So there are even more members of the Bennett side. And then the Burns side. So my husband's side of the family, my side of the family, with my brother and his 4 kids. And now almost all of them have kids. So this is an older photo, but I wanted it to include my mom and dad. And my mom has been gone since 2006. So this had to be a little bit older of a photo to include both of Eric's parents and both of my parents in the photos. So that's the next one. And then I decided to add sort of a then and now. So 1986 when we got married, and then this was just last year on one of our cruises. So, a little older, but still 38 years strong there of marriage. And then next in the progression came Jason. So he was born in 91. So this is just minutes after he was born, one of my favorite photos of holding him. And then just a few photos of him through the years. I used my selfie printer to do a 4 collage layout. So him as a newborn, and then as a cutie patootie little like 3-year-old, and this was, I think, kindergarten, first grade, somewhere in there, Halloween. Look at the big poofy hair. And then this was last year on our cruise. So just adding pictures of him. This was absolutely one of my favorite pictures throughout the years of, for one of our Christmas card photos. I just love this. He was just such a cutie patootie, happy baby. That was funny. Oh my goodness, that's hysterical. And this was also one of my favorites. This was him in kindergarten age, 4th of July, and our family. And then a recent photo of our family at our favorite, or I should really say my favorite, Benihana. I love to eat at Benihana, and I just love that we go as a family a couple times a year. We're part of the birthday club, so we usually go at least 3 times a year. March, May, and July for our birthdays. And then I have a couple updated photos just last year of us at a Sharks hockey game. They were playing the Golden Knights. Jason is a Golden Knights fan. We are Sharks fans, so there you go. And then we are also 49er fans. So adding these pictures, they're going to go like this, just sort of tells the quick story of Patty Bennett as a little girl up here, as a wife and mother, and us as a family. So if you're joining in late and you're like, wait, what is she doing? What is this? These flip flaps are available from Stampin' Up! In several sizes. When you buy this pack of 4x6, which is what all of these are, they have the option to be this way, the horizontal or landscape mode, or they have them with the adhesive and the pocket at the top. So you could do them this way to flip up, or you can do them this way to do horizontal, or you could do it this way and flip it this way. Lots of options with these. And I just keep an open pack of each size in this little envelope, so 3x3, 3x4, and 4x6, and then I can grab whatever size I need. So I know, and if you're yelling at me going, good Lord, lady, don't put that many flip flaps on a page. I understand. This is not a normal amount of flip flaps. Normally you would have maybe 2 or 3 on your page, but trying to tell the story in a 2-page spread. So there we go. And then you get your layout sort of spaced out, kind of get it in your mind here. And you say, okay, so I'm going to have about 3/4 to an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch between each row. And that will help you get the layout kind of settled in your mind. The other thing I found that was helpful was my T-square that I use for lots of different purposes. But if you line that up at the top of, wait, let me pull this down so you can see. Okay, I think you can see that. So if you have your page all settled in here and down, pushed down into the bottom, you'll know that your page is inside your protector, all nice and square. You can use a T-square ruler like this up at the top here, or at the side, but in this case, the top, and it will help you to line those up if you need help doing it that direction. So that's another tip. I'm going to start up at the top. You always fold your flap this way to the back and peel off the release paper. And now, so you can see my adhesive is back here, right? So I've got it tucked to the back. And I knew, because I was, looking at my layout here, that this is going to go right up here. I'm right onto the page protector. Okay, right up here under the About Me title. And you can take your bone folder and you can make sure that that is kind of sealed on there. And this is right on top of the page protector. There is another method that some people like to use where they actually put these on the page and then they make slits in the cover, in this protector, that is an option. But I elected to do this. So then I'm going to flip that up, and I can see here the way I've got these laid out. I'm kind of just eyeballing, okay, this next one is going to go right about at the top of that plaid piece. So that gives me some direction of my next layer. And it is also, okay, it's hard to see because it's clear, but it's also that same roughly 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to stick that one on, and then I can flip that up. And then when I look at what's left here, I want to kind of equally space those. Okay, so I can see I'm going to stick it just, oh, look, it lines up like right under that. So that's going to be my little clue for my next one. And remember I told you I was going to just give you a little like tip of why I put this piece back here. It's just so that when these are flipping up, that it's not just white paper back there. And you don't have to, but you can. You can always add. And this one, hang on, this one is just a little bit crooked. So let me just square that up there. That's better. Okay, I have 2 left. So this one is going to be right about there. Let me just see. Yep. I'm just looking down here as well. Yep. Okay. So this one is going to be right about at the top of that. Just happened to do that. I didn't know it was going to line up exactly like that. Okay, and then before I stick it down, I'm just going to flip it up here and make sure that looks pretty even. It does. So I'm going to stick that on, and then I have my last one, and it is just going to fill in that middle spot here. So then, look how fun. So now we have this half of my 2-page spread that tells kind of half of my story. So me as a little girl, daughter, sister, and then the Bennett family and the Burns family, Eric and I on our wedding, and a recent picture. Then Jason is born, and then some pictures of Jason, and one of my favorite pictures of Jason, and my next favorite picture, and then us recently at I say our, but it's my favorite place to eat, Benihana, and then a couple of family pictures, and then another family photo from one of our cruises. So that is half of my 2-page spread. And now let me show you the other half. And I think you're going to like this idea that I did. We'll just look, before we put this page aside, we'll just look at, if you can see, this is a lot to fit in here, but this was the suggested layout with all of those squares. And you can see how I did 10 squares, 2 strips, and added all those pictures instead of 1 photo. So there's how I modified it, as well as bringing in the yellow, which I told you we're going to look at why I did that. So for the second half of my layout, I did the same thing that you saw me do in the beginning. We have the pink background, 12 by 12, cut 1 inch off 2 sides of the white, and I glued that together. So that's already glued together. And what I wanted to do on this half of the layout is I printed out, instead of doing a lot of journaling, it's just sort of bullet points. So I was born as Patty Burns. I am now Patty Bennett. I am also kind of known as Patty Stamps. So I know that's not my name, but that's, a lot of people think of it that way. And so who am I? Child of God, daughter, sister, wife, mom, friend, auntie, cousin. I'm probably more than that, but leader, mentor. I mean, there's a lot of adjectives I could put in here, but I only had so much space. And things I love to do, I love to be with my family, craft and share. I'm a self-employed entrepreneur. I love to travel and cruise, love to work in my garden. I love to eat out, and I love to shop. Just being real. Fun facts. I'm a native Californian, so born and raised and live in California. I spent 19 years in the architecture and engineering world. That's my background. My husband hired me. That's how we met in 1984. He hired me. I will be celebrating 30 years as a demonstrator in June, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And maybe little known facts about me. I love going to demolition derbies, especially with my family. We love that. I know that's kind of a crazy fun fact, but it's true. I also love penguins and I love grid paper. I just printed that out on the computer and I backed it with some, or matted it with some of the designer paper from this kit. And so that's going to go here. You can see I added those cute hearts that I showed you on that page. And then to finish off this page, I took some of the pool party and I just cut strips of this striped paper so that I didn't have to use an entire like 8-inch piece. And that is going to go here. So I'm just kind of showing you my layout here. And then I had these 2 pieces that just were kind of left over from this kit. These are going to be behind the flip flaps that go on this side. I know that's kind of a weird looking layout right now, but when you get the flip flaps on there, it's just kind of fun to have some patterned paper in the background. And then this is going to be kind of my last photo down here, and the flip flaps are going to cover it like they did on layout 1. So let's just add these. What do you think about this idea? I thought this was fun. I just thought that much journaling would maybe just be too much on a page. And so I just thought this kind of this bullet point idea, I don't know. I thought that was fun. And then this here just kind of carries over the blue and a little bit of the stripes peeking out. I'll put this one down at the bottom. So again, just printed it on my selfie, Canon selfie with the white border and then matted it onto the darker side of the pool party. And we'll just put these on. Like I was explaining at the beginning, I did not really use or feature, just want to see my spacing, the bees, but it's all right. You can, use or omit whatever you'd like in each page or layout or kit that you have. Okay. And then, so that you don't have to watch me redo this, I've already got these photos stuck down to my page protector. So I'm going to go ahead and slip this in and we'll look at how this finished page turns out here. And I'll go through why I did some of the things. And that, remember I mentioned the yellow. I'm just going to pull this other page in real quick so that you can kind of get a little sense of how the 2-page spread turns out. So remember I said I wanted to pop this yellow in to go with the second page. You can see what I've done on this one is matte this photo with that same yellow paper. And the reason is it kind of gives your eye this circular, like it gives you a place to kind of go. So yellow, 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 and then heart, heart, heart. That gives you kind of the flow. So that's why I did the yellow over here, was to pull in from that photo. But now we can just look at these pictures, and that will finish up my 2-page spread. So in my list over here, one of the things I mentioned was travel and cruising. We have been cruising since 2001 on Stampin' Up trips, and I have to give the disclaimer that fewer than 1% of demonstrators earn the trips and have this level of success. It's just a disclaimer I have to say. But anyway, we found after our first cruise in 2001 that we loved cruising. So we have been on, I think, about 25 cruises total. We love to cruise. This was, gosh, I don't even know what year this one was. I probably should put a little note there with the year, but I can figure it out because I have a list of all the ships we've been on in all the years. But this was obviously many years ago, the Zuiderdam. And here's a more recent cruising photo of us. And we just love the family time together and seeing so many fun new places. There's another cruising photo with one of the cruise ships in the background. And this was cute. One year they had, Stampin' Up! Had all these gigantic props, and we could go get our pictures taken with these huge props. This was like super fun. So there's a Stampin' Around. If you remember the wheels we used to sell many years ago, that was fun. And then just sort of some photos here of my life as a demonstrator, because, 30 years doing one thing, being a demonstrator, is a lot, right? So many, many, many years ago, I enjoyed chatting with Shelley, and I did not know, but just hours after this photo was taken, I was given the Heart of Stampin' Up! Award that year at convention. And I just was, looking back at this, thinking, here we are sitting and chatting, and she knows that in a couple hours she's going to give me that award. Is like, that was so funny. Anyway, so that's a fun memory for me. And then on my $1 million achievement trip, Sarah and I scrapbooked pictures from my trip. After day one, I asked that they would print all the pictures from day one, and we started to scrapbook them with the memories and more. And that was really fun. And this is in Shelley's house in her craft room. She was away on a mission trip. So Sarah and I got to scrapbook in Shelley's craft room. Here is a picture of me in the very beginning of being a demonstrator. I believe this was my second year as a demonstrator. Here I am packed up, ready to go to a workshop. Isn't that fun? And then nearly 30 years later, celebrating my $3 million sales achievement at the home office. This was last fall with Sarah and Shelley and all of the achievers from that year. That was such a wonderful trip. That will be in a future scrapbook page. Then going on with my list here, I love penguins, so I included a couple of penguin photos. My son gave me this whole tin of about, 100 or so penguin stickers that I've been using on some projects. And so there is just a few of our penguins. I also love to garden, so I included one of the bouquets from a couple years ago from my garden. And we love to feed the birds and the squirrels, and so I included a picture of one of our sweet little buddies eating in his little feeder. We call them garages because sometimes they back in and it's kind of funny. Anyway, he's eating his seeds there. And like I said, little known fact, I love demolition derbies. We've been to so many of them at county fairs. We love it. And so I included a demolition derby photo. I know probably half of you, or maybe more than half, are like, wait, what? And then just one of the photos from last fall in the home office with their wonderful Share What You Love sign there. So that, my friends, is the Stampin' Up! Meant to Be scrapbooking kit, workshop kit, and my version of layout number 1 in, hang on. Where did that go? It's somewhere. It's somewhere. Please hold. Here it is. Okay, so layout number 1 in the scrapbooking kit. These are my version so that I could share more photos about myself. And at 11 a.m. Pacific time today, Tammy will show you her photos about her with her version of layout 2. At 4 p.m. today, Jenny will show you her version of layout number 3, and all with the meant to be scrapbooking workshop kit. So what do you think? I think this was really fun. And like I said, I know normally you don't have this many flip-flops on a page, but I thought this was a really fun way to sort of summarize some of the things about me in a 2-page spread. Oh, thank you, Connie. I'm glad you enjoyed hearing my Stampin' Up! Life and journey. Oh, my printer. I went over that last month and I will link to it again. It is a small printer. Let me see if I can get it. I can reach it. Hang on. I showed this last time. This is the Canon Selfie printer. It just prints out up to 4x6, but as you can see, it also does different layouts. You can have up to like 9 or something photos. They'd be really little, but you can pick your layout and it just prints out. So that's what I have for printing some of my photos. And I went over that quite a bit on our January scrapbooking video and showed it and showed the link in my post, but I can relink to that as well. Thank you for checking on that. Oh, Veronica likes that. Thank you. I really thought that was kind of fun. Thanks, Debbie. I'm glad you like the flip-flaps. Thank you. Oh, good. Tammy is going to do some fun facts about herself as well. That is fun. Yep, grid paper. I mean, grid paper, Robin. I'm all about grid paper. I love grid paper. That's my deal. Oh, Shan said she had not thought about putting these on the page protectors. Yes, that is what most of the people do, that all the videos that I've been watching that I mentioned last month, most of them put it directly right on here. But if you want to stick it right to your page and cut a slit, you would cut a slit in the page protector and slide this in and stick it directly to your page. You can do that. Either way works just as well. Yay, go 49ers. Exactly. So any questions about this? Otherwise, I will let you go, and I hope that you will pop over to pattystamps.com tomorrow to see photos of the finished pages and watch a replay if you need to. And if you need to see all of the supplies, you know they're already on my blog today. So you can pop over there and shop for any of these supplies that you might need. Yes, Shannon is asking where do we see these videos? So the next day on my blog, all of my videos, all 500 of them are archived on my blog the next day. You can also go to my YouTube channel. Just search Patty Bennett on YouTube. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can see all of my videos. And you can also watch them for up to 30 days on Facebook. Let's see. Since I missed last month, do you buy the kit and you're doing these monthly? Yes, you can buy the kits anytime. Cindy, absolutely. They are all available. Well, they're available while supplies last, but yes, you can buy them anytime in the online store. Donna, I didn't know about flip-flaps until last year, and this was something that we brought over from close to my heart. I didn't know about it, so this is new to me, and I don't know if you remember, but I did share cards that I made with the flip-flaps, so they are also adorable on cards. I did a series of different cards with the flip-flaps, so you don't have to do them on scrapbook pages. I think they are just so much fun as an addition to a mini album or a card, and look how cute they are. So this is the 3x4 size. They can hold a gift card and lots of notes and photos and whatnot. So yeah, flip-flaps are really fun. Not limited to scrapbook pages. Oh, good. Maggie said that she got the selfie printer after watching me last month. I'm glad. It's so fun. It just works with an app on your phone. Okay, you are welcome, everyone. Yes, Shannon, there are links tomorrow to Tammy and Jenny's blog posts, and you can see their videos on their blogs tomorrow if you can't join them live today. Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. So thank you everyone for joining. I appreciate you and hope that you will join me this Friday for my usual crafting video. I am doing a wrap up of the color theory series and doing the final video of that series for you this Friday. I think you're going to love it with the color wheel. So have a wonderful rest of your week. I will see you live on Friday, and please check back on pattystamps.com tomorrow if you want to see the finished pages and more information about the kit. Bye, everybody.